Hello everyone, and welcome to a moment with Vivacious. You are the highlight of my life. I'm always excited to be here. This is where I get my high on, to be spending it with you. I'm sorry for a few weeks I was in Washington, and I had an event, and this week I have another event on Wednesday night, so they're pre-recorded. But you can still leave, if you want to leave messages, if need be. I can make a little short, I can make a little video during the week and address those messages, or I can just type in a response as I always do to messages that's recorded. And I just want to say sometimes I do not respond when the message is totally negative or totally against our views. And the only views that would be totally against ours is totally against humanity. And because I don't want to start a negative discussion, because we're here to give life. But I answer everyone. And I try to even answer some of those in love. But thank you so much. And look, if you want to be a guest on this show, Moments with Vivacious is a show for the voice of the people. So if you want to be a guest, email me, vivaciouspeaks@gmail.com or VS100 Productions@gmail. And I'll be looking forward to would get in contact with you immediately and put you on. We do have some guests signed up, some exciting guests signed up for the coming weeks. And we can't wait. We can't wait to share, because this is the revolution. And it's the people who is the power of the revolution. So when we hear what you have to say, it empowers others, it influences others, it excites others, it makes others mad, whatever, it gets the people moving. So let's talk, let's meet, let's come be a guest so we can just get this all fired up, right? Yes. And continue to fire up. I never want to take a spot for politics on this station, but today I want to tell us to please. Those of us in Georgia, we could not afford to lose this seat. I believe in everything that John Ossoff does, but that's not what this is about. This is about us keeping that regaining democratic power in Congress. So please get out and vote John Ossoff, Senator. I'm so sorry for that, and I hope I never do it again. But I had to go there. I don't think we're understanding. I want to go back, and I can't go back too much into it because I don't move backwards. But we talked about being diligent about every day. In the past, we've talked about waking up every day with a strategy for that day, because that's how we win. That's how we win, right? Right. So the only way we're going to be effective is if we're fervent. Fervent is about taking the passion of our hearts and running with it. What is your personal dream? If we want to be effective in life, what's that thing that motivates your heart? What's that thing that burns in your soul? I have a thing for people. I love people, and I love life. And I'll give everything I have to fight for it. Is it easy? No. Is it impossible? Sometimes it sure seems like it. Is it worthwhile? Sometimes I have to right back to tears, saying, God, where are you? And look, it's not personal for me, because sometimes the things that keep me going on is turning on somebody else's testimony. When I turn on other people's testimonies, sometimes it let me know. You know, all the times it encouraged me that if it's worth having, it's worth fighting for. When I look at Tyler Perry's documentary about his life, about his mama's baby boy, and how him and his friend, oh God, send me a friend like that, share hamburgers. They had one money for one Happy Meal, and they divided it in half a lot of days, and that's what they ate. And how he used his mama's credit card for to rent a truck, and the play was unsuccessful, and his mom cursed him out, and until she saw how she was hurting her child, and it was that very play that hit it, and they made a hit. The very play. That he was almost so discouraged, like, if my mama don't believe in me. And I believe the one thing, and I talk about it all the time also, that my mama left me with is her faith in me. I heard them. I had no clue. Mama said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I'm going to be a superstar. And she asked me that because she said, what do you want your name? I said, Mom, I asked my mom, Mom, can you change my name? And Mom said, what would you want your name changed to? Why do you want your name changed? And I said, I want my name to be Gloria. And she said, Gloria? Why Gloria? I said, because it's close to gold. And today I could understand that glory is close to gold, but then I guess it didn't make no sense. As a little child, I was very young. It sounded alike, maybe. And that's what Mom said, what you want to be? I said, I'm going to be a superstar. And ever since then, and my sister loved to dance too. And ever since then, my mama would put us on her coffee table to dance for her friends. We would always be dancing for her friends. I felt like I just felt like a superstar. I just knew I was it. There was nothing inside of me that wouldn't cause me to be everything that I felt inside that I was. And I remember, I'm going two sides now. I remember being home not long ago. My sister's a beautiful woman. And I said, why do you sit here? You're so beautiful. I know a man because God made her wife. And I said, I know a man will be glad to have you in his life. Why don't you date? Why aren't you out? And I believe that part of when my mom passed, it killed part of the greatness from within inside herself that she could connect with. Because everything that she is so great that I have to remind her often. I don't have to remind her often, but I do, because that's who I am. So sometimes things in life disconnects us from our fervency, from our passion. How do we regain that? I often write, and I often speak of connecting with the greatness inside of you. Not that it matters what people think, okay? But sometimes you have to go to people who love you. Like my sister. If she really want to know what makes her great, she can go to her 2 grandsons. Because her daughters love her. Let me tell you something. I'm her sister and she's everything to me. The 3 of us are life best friends. But nobody loves that woman like her 2 grandsons. Sometimes, when it's hard to connect to that, what makes me love me for real? Because it's a difference in responding when you're hurt because you love you and when you're being defensive. Now, I'm going a whole lot of places right now. But I'm going to tell you this. Pain makes you defensive. When things hurt you, it makes you defensive. You're going to defend yourself. You know, for a while in my life, I used to let people hurt me. Because I didn't care. But I found out that a part of me was not caring for me when I allowed that to happen. So I had to learn how to be effectively uncaring. But more than anything, I had to learn how to love me. In spite of all the things that love brought me and my response to my actions, to the things that brought me. Because see, if we don't learn, first of all, how to love ourselves, we fall into that state. And it usually starts off when you're young and you're not taught to love you. You're not taught to what's important about you. You're not taught about your heart. You're not taught about your spirit. You're not taught about your sexuality. Your sexuality spiritually and your sexuality spiritually. And a lot of times we have parents that don't know those things, that can't explain it to us because they don't know, because they've never learned. Some of us get ideas to say, I don't really care. I don't care about that. And that allow us to be, it makes us look big to us, to ourselves. It makes us look big on the other side, like they're not bothering me. But in the inside, you're molding, you're hurting, you're bleeding. And then you allow those hits to come time after time after time, and you can't even get up anymore because you thought you didn't care. And it just brought to my mind one thing. This week, it went viral about the teacher who was singing a little negative happy birthday song to the little boy. Because his mama stood up and fought for him. Do you know what greatness that turned on inside of him? I know a little girl, just this week, she was emotionally and sexually abused her and some other classmates in class by a young man. She immediately knew to go call her mom, who took action. That gave her a whole nother worth of who she is. And I'm just saying that to say no matter how old or how young, you have boys and girls and men and women. You know, when somebody, I know a young man, a young guy who married young at a very young age. And his wife cheated on him. And then another girlfriend cheated on him. So he's feeling like he's not worth it. He's not worth being loved. And the young girl, or the young man, whose mate continuously hit them. Women, do not hit a man in the face. I'm going to tell you, my daddy used to always say, you can't beat no man. Don't try that. Don't keep your hands to yourself. Don't hit no man. You can't beat him. And then the girl's mama used to say, if you hit him, he's going to hit you back. If you're big enough to give a lick, you're big enough to take it. That was little children playing on the street. But it was a big lesson to me. We want to call the police. We want to put the man in jail. We want to have the man put under jail forever. And let me tell you something. I am not advocating in any way violence, physical violence for anyone in any way. And that's why I'm saying to us right now, keep your hands to yourself to help prevent physical violence. Because let me tell you, when your dad whipped you because you did something wrong, or your brother punched you because you played with his truck, or vice versa, especially boys with their mama and girls with their daddy for some reason, it leaves a scar, a cut. And so much has happened to us in our lives, and that's only a few things that I mentioned, but so much has happened to us that we are not able to connect with our passions. And a lot of that is because we think we don't care. And it's not good when we think we don't care, because then we can think that nobody cares. And one thing patients say often, because y'all don't care nothing about us, y'all don't care. That's not true at all. But I think some of that is for another reason. And that is, everybody can't give you what you want when you want it, how you want it. But when we put ourselves in a mode of, I'm not good enough to be cared about. So how do we get out of that again?